Trouble in Paradise by Pip Granger. Read by Tanya Myers.
Zelda! Have you heard? It's over! It's finally bloody over! Answer the door, there's a love. I feel a right prune standing here yelling myself hoarse. It was my friend Dilly's voice, husky with excitement. It was late Monday afternoon. I'd just finished my shift at the canteen, or British restaurant, as it patriotically called itself, and was up to my eyebrows in cold, scummy water at home. I was wrestling with a greasy frying pan without benefit of either soap or a shilling for the gas, so it was a relief to drop the thing and hurry downstairs to the street door. Dilly's lovely face, normally pale, was glowing with joy under her blue headscarf, and her brown eyes glittered with tears. Dilly was always inclined to blub when she was happy, and when she wasn't. "Oh, Zeld!" she yelled, then threw her arms around me, yanked me into the street, and hurled me up the road to Hobbs the butcher's and back again in a mad polka. It took a fair amount of navigational skill to dodge the broken paving stones and potholes that still littered our East London streets, despite the best efforts of the authorities. It was a good half an hour before we were free of the small crowd we'd collected and had settled at my kitchen table, toasting the great news in weak tea with no sugar. The war in Europe was over. Hitler had chucked in the towel. Of course, we'd been hearing rumours for days, and our harkers had been glued to the wireless at the canteen, but there'd been no official announcement, so we'd hardly dared to believe it until we heard it from Mr. Churchill's own lips. The buzz around London would not be denied a second longer, though. We had won at last, announcement or no announcement. We were ready to let our corsets out and our hair down and to throw caution to the wind. We were sick of it, heartily sick of it, and we wanted our proper lives back. Of course, some of us didn't really know what our adult lives were supposed to be like, having been young when the war started, but we were willing to find out. Most of us were, anyway. I had a horrible feeling I knew what my real life with Charlie was going to be like, and I was sure I wasn't going to like it. Still, the time to worry about that was when I heard the bleeders' hobnails on the stairs. Until then, I could join in the merriment along with everybody else. "Some Yank told me that Hitler blew his own brains out," Dilly told me. Her face split in an evil grin as she lit up a Chesterfield. American servicemen kept her supplied with life's luxuries like cigarettes, stockings and, God bless 'em, chocolate. Which was very handy indeed, what with the black market not being cheap and us being broke most of the time. Ma Hull says he swallowed poison, and Hobbs the butcher says he's been hanged, drawn and quartered by his own bodyguard. But I reckon that's wishful thinking myself. Nobody's found the body yet, so it's all guesswork. He's always been bloodthirsty, that Lenny Hobbs. He was like it when he was at school, you remember? Dilly's face was getting pinker by the second. Lenny Hobbs had indeed been a bloodthirsty kid. A picture of his large red face, when he was a schoolboy, floated across my mind. We were all huddled behind the toilets, staring at a pair of sheep's eyeballs in the palm of his grubby hand. There was no telling what Lenny Hobbs was likely to whip out of his pocket next. Once it had been a pig's trotter, and we girls learned to scuttle to the toilet at top speed when he and his pals were on the loose. But it didn't matter at that moment, and neither did Hitler. The main thing was that the war in our neck of the woods was over. "Your mum says to come round to the gardens tonight," Dilly continued, still breathless with it all. "I bumped into her, and she says there's going to be a knees-up to end all knees-ups. They've decided the weekend for the street party, but there'll be a bit of a do tonight." And Mum should know, because she could drum up a party in an empty house. She just loved to celebrate. Any old excuse would do. She'd been known to bung a candle in our bread and dripping and call it a bloody
Sample complete. Ready to continue?